lesson is on parallel and perpendicular lines. We're going to skip the I can statement for now. We'll go back and fill that in later. Parallel lines have the same slopes and different y-intercepts. Same slopes. So when I look at, hang on, my stylus is crazy. Okay, so we use this symbol. It's actually, it looks like two L's right together. This symbol right there represents the lines that are parallel. So when I look at these two equations for line 1 and line 2, I see line 1 has a slope of 1/2 and a y-intercept of 4. Line 2 has a slope of 1/2 and a y-intercept of -2. So because they have the same slope, I can say that line 1 is parallel to line 2 because they have the same slope and different y-intercepts. Perpendicular lines, the two lines that perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect to form right angles or 90 degrees, and the slopes of perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocal. Opposite reciprocal. My stylus is about out of battery, so this is going to be the best I can do for us. Opposite reciprocal. And we use this symbol to state that two lines are perpendicular, and it's an upside down capital T. That's what it looks like. Upside down capital T. So when I look at line 3, I see line 3 has a slope of -2/3, -2/3, and it has a y-intercept of 1. Line 4 has a slope of +3/2 and a y-intercept of -5. All right, so let's talk about this opposite reciprocal. We know opposite means changes the sign. So my slopes that I'm comparing, the two slopes that I'm looking at are -2/3 and 3/2. I'm comparing those two slopes. Opposite means the sign. One is positive and one is negative. So we have that. Reciprocal means that they're flipped. We have flipped the fraction. So these two lines are, in fact, perpendicular. All right, so we're going to graph the two lines below on the same coordinate plane, and we're going to try to determine if they're parallel or perpendicular. So for this first one, y equals 2x minus 7. This is already written in slope-intercept form for me. I know that has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of -7. So I'm going to begin at -7 on the y-axis, and then I'm going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Again, I don't have the best stylus. Let's try that again. So we're going to begin at -7, and we're going to go up 2 to the right 1, 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 up 2 to the right 1. So this is line 1. Okay, now let's look at line 2. So for line 2, this is written in standard form. I have to solve for y. So the first thing I need to do is subtract 6x from both sides. So 6x minus 6x is 0. So I have a -3y equals -6x plus 9. I need to divide everything by -3. Every single term gets divided. Every single term gets divided. So y equals, let's see, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Y equals 2x. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 2x minus 3. So my slope is 2, and my y-intercept is negative 3. So I'm going to begin at negative 3, up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1. So when I graph line 2, I see that line 1 is parallel to line 2. Line 1 is parallel to line 2. All right, let's look at our next example. Example 2 has 2 lines, neither of which are solved for y, so we have to do that. My first line, line 3, is 2y equals 5x minus 4, so I want to get y all by itself. I want to divide everything by 2. Y equals 5 halves x minus 2. So my slope is 5 halves, and my y-intercept is negative 2. When I look at example 4, or line number 4, sorry, let's see, I'm still trying to get y all by itself, so the first thing I want to do is subtract 4x from both sides. So 10y equals negative 4x plus 10. Lastly, I'm going to divide everything by 10, every single term. Y equals, let's see, negative 4 over 10. Those are both divisible by 2. So that's going to be a negative 2 over 5x plus 1. So my slope is negative 2 over 5. My y-intercept is 1. So let's go ahead and graph these two lines. Line 3 begins at negative 2 on the y-axis and has a slope of up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right 2. I can do that again. Up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right 2. I can also start at the negative 2 and go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the left 2. So this is line 3. Line 4, excuse me, begins at y-intercept of 1, and it has a slope of negative 2 over 5. So down 2, to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 2, to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could also go up 2 and to the left 5. This is line 4, and these two lines are perpendicular to each other. So line 3 is perpendicular to line 4. All right. So sometimes we're asked to write an equation to a line that's parallel or perpendicular to another equation. So the first thing that we have to do is get the given equation in slope-intercept form. So that means make it look like this. Y equals mx plus b. Next, you have to take the slope from the given line and you have to ask yourself, are you writing a line that's like an equation that's parallel to that line? Because if it's parallel, you're going to keep that slope. You're going to have the same slope. And if you're writing a line that's perpendicular, then you're going to use the opposite reciprocal. Remember, opposite changes the sign. Reciprocal is the flip. And then you write the equation using the new slope and a given ordered pair. So we're going to kind of walk through those steps. So we're writing an equation of a line in slope-intercept form that passes through this point and it's parallel to this line. So we know that if it's parallel, that means it has the same slope. So the first thing I need to do is take the equation 2x minus y equals 6 and put it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Negative y equals negative 2x plus 6. Now I have to get rid of that negative in front of my y, so I'm going to divide every single term by a negative 1. So I have the equation y equals 2x minus 6. So my slope is 2. Now because my lines are parallel, I need to use the same slope. So I'm going to use a slope of 2. Sorry. I'm going to use a slope of 2 and the ordered pair negative 6, negative 9. So remember, this ordered pair is an x and y coordinate. So we're plugging these into y equals mx plus b, and we're solving for b. Okay, so y, which is negative 9, equals m, which is my slope of 2, times x, which is negative 6, plus b. Well, let's see, 2 times negative 6, that's negative 12. So negative 9 equals negative 12 plus b. I want to add 12 to both sides. 3 equals b. So my equation is y equals my slope, which is 2x, plus my new y-intercept, 3. All right, let's try it again. So now we're going to do the same exact thing, only this time our line is going to be perpendicular and passing through the point 7, 1. So perpendicular, that means I need to find the slope of this line and then transpose it to the opposite reciprocal. So to find the slope of this line, the first thing I want to do is solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. Divide both sides by 4. Y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. So my slope for this line is negative 3/4. So if I want the slope that's perpendicular to this line, the perpendicular slope is going to be the opposite, which means it's going to be a positive, and the reciprocal. Flip the fraction. So now I'm using the slope positive 4/3. And I'm going to use the ordered pair 7, 1. And I'm plugging it into y equals mx plus b. So 1 equals my slope, 4/3 times 7 plus b. 1 equals, well, 4 times 7 is 28. So I have 28/3 plus b. When I subtract 28/3 from both sides, remember that the whole number 1 is the same thing as 3/3. 3 minus 28 is a negative 25. So negative 25/3 equals b. So our equation, y equals our slope, which is 4/3 x minus 25/3. So that's it. That's what you're doing.